Okay, it's on. Hi and welcome to this first video on my channel on how to set up a Fiesta Online private server. Um, Here's my remote desktop connection, and it's a fresh install of Windows Server 2019. I have already downloaded all the necessary files. Here at my C drive we have Fiesta Online, which contains the configuration. We'll take a look at it later. And the services. Okay. And here at documents we have our databases. We have a hex editor. We're gonna do just a little bit of hex editing later, nothing spectacular. GR it stands for Gamigo Response, I believe. And I'm gonna explain this later. SQL Server, SQL Server 2019, and Management Studio, SSMS. Ports and Registry. But like I said, I'm gonna explain all of this later. What I want to say is that there's no liability for the steps taken. I'm saying this because, as you can see, we're gonna edit the registry according to this file. And if you don't want to do this, you can take a look at the server release, because I know that it includes like two files where the registry will be automatically set up if you run those two files. So you can take a look for those two files. I believe they're called GBO and Fantasy. Also, you only have to do this on servers version 2015 and up. So prior to 2015, it was not necessary to have these keys in the registry. Okay, but I'm talking so much right now. Let's just get started. What we want to do first, we have our server folder, and we actually want to go to Windows Security, and okay, we went to Home, Virus and Threat Protection, and then we go to Virus and Threat Protection Settings, Manage Settings. We want to add or remove exclusions, and we want to add an exclusion for a folder. And what this does is basically exclude our server folder from virus scans, which is important because sometimes there's like false positives on the executables in there. So go to your server folder. It doesn't have to be called Fiesta Online. Remember, this is the folder where all the services are in, and our configuration and Shine folder. Okay, select folder, and as you can see, it's now excluded from virus scans. That's good. SQL. Okay, we're gonna start by installing SQL 2019. Select Custom, Install. Okay, this is gonna install SQL Server 2019. After that, we're gonna install SQL Server Management Studio. And this is basically where we're gonna connect to our SQL instance. So this is only the core SQL the actual SQL service, and this is only a UI user interface for accessing our SQL. Okay, takes a bit. Download successful. Yeah, I'm not gonna edit this video, so it's just gonna be uncut and raw. New SQL Server standalone installation or add features to an existing installation. We want to do that. Okay, we accept. I don't really do this. What it does is it will update SQL Server together with Windows updates. Let me just show you. If you do this, you may want to have this enabled. Give me updates for other Microsoft products when I update Windows. So those two go together, I believe. If you have this enabled and this disabled, I think it doesn't make much sense. Okay, we're just gonna go next. It is recommended, but it is disabled by default, which is kind of weird, but we're just gonna go next. Why? Why does it take so long? Wow, that takes a little bit long. Oh, okay. Usually it doesn't take that long at this step. Okay, we have a warning here, and this warning means that if you don't open the port, I can show you. Yeah, make sure the appropriate ports are open to enable remote access. So if you want to access your SQL databases from outside, you will have to enable the appropriate port in your Windows firewall. But we don't care about this now. We're just gonna go next. And here's a list of all the features. We don't need any of these. So I recommend you to just disable all of them except our database engine services. Okay, so we can make this bigger. Leave all those disabled and database engine services enabled. I always like to have as little features enabled as possible because I think it really does only good to your performance, and if you're never gonna use any of these, why keep them enabled, you know? So we're gonna go next. Okay. Next, we can leave this default. Okay, we can leave this also default. It only says that our service is gonna automatically start when Windows boots. So yeah, you won't have to run the SQL Server service manually. It's gonna do this for you. And here's our collation. Uh, it's some stuff about case sensitivity, accents. We don't care about this. Just leave this default and go next. Okay. We want to specify password. I've already put this password in a configuration file. Let me show you. Just so you know where you're gonna have to put this password. It goes in here. And this is the IP address. So we're gonna have to open these ports later next to our server's IP address. Not the local host ones though. But anyways, this is the password I just entered in here. And we'll go next. And now it's gonna set this up for us. Okay, what can we do now? You know what? I just told you that we can open these ports, so let's just do it. Where is it? I believe it's in Windows. No, Windows System. No, administrative tools. Oops. We want to go to Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security. Okay. Go to Inbound Rules and create a new rule. We want to open ports, so we choose port TCP, that's right, that's the protocol. And then we want to specify the range, which ports we want to open. And I have this in here. It's just all the ports next to the IP address. You see? This is a list of them. I'm gonna copy this and pass it in here. Alright. We want to open them and we want to allow the connection. And in here you can choose the adapter type. Let me just quickly show you what this is. Ethernet. Okay, this is this in here, public, private. We're currently on public, but we can just leave this on default. Just so you know, this is what you have put in here at your network settings of Windows. Give it a name. Very descriptive, Fiesta Online. So, yeah. I just called it the same name as our server folder. So it's consistent. Okay, this is gonna take a while. So, what do we want to do now? What can we do now? Can I actually, like... Let's try it. I don't know if this works while SQL is installing, but we will see. Oh, what was that? There was some random comment prompt window. Okay, I went to manage, add roles and features. we want to add the um, IIS web server feature. Server selection. Here, server roles, web server IIS. Add features. Next. Nothing in here. Next. Next. Now we can adjust what exactly is installed. Just like we did with SQL Server, what we need is, we don't need any of these, we only need static content and static content compression, that's good. And we need the management console. So just so that you can see it, we need 1, 2, 3. Is this our SQL Server installing? It's like opening separate windows. Static content compression, and IIS management console. Nice. Let's hit next. Install. Okay, we're almost there. That's high-level multitasking right here. Okay, the reason I'm setting up IIS, and again, this won't be needed if you use server files prior to 2015, because we have, yeah, the zones have some sort of validation going on before they're actually starting up. So if they don't pass this validation test, they will just crash. They will, you know, stop and leave an error message in the log files. So, oh, actually we can do the registry now. So hit Windows key R and type in regedit like this. Enter. Registry. We need to go there. H key local machine software. Wow node. Okay, this is actually where we need to go, and then we need to create these. So right click this, new key fantasy fighter. Again, we need to nest this into fantasy and type in fighter. And then again in wow node, a new key GBO. Good. Let's insert some string values. Bird and the data is eagle. And then again a new string value. Insect, I believe. Yes, insect hunted. Hunted, okay. And okay, we have fighter. We have finished those two, and now let's go to GBO. Insert desert and natural. Desert and natural. And now let's edit them. I'm actually gonna copy these. Desert and natural. Okay, as you saw, all of these were string values. That's why they have those single quotes. They're strings. Okay, that's done. We have our 4 keys. We can close this. We can close this as well. We have finished that. Okay, this is done. This is also done. Close. And close. Okay. Now what we want to do is open our IIS manager. Go to our server and create a new dedicated site for our Gamigo response. Like this. Actually, what I always do is no. Copy this path. Okay, IIS will create this folder, inetpub, and in there is a www.root folder, and we're gonna create a new folder in there. Two new folders. We're gonna I'm always going to the wrong one. What was it called? Default websites. Okay. Create a new site. Gamigo response. It's a local one. Not sure about the port. Let me just quickly check. Alright, here we have the port. That's the number we're gonna insert. I can copy it, okay. 58492. That's it. And it's running. Okay, so what I always do here is create a meme type for PHP and set it as text HTML. And then copy grphp to our inetpub in here. Okay. Let me open Internet Explorer, which is the web browser installed by default on Windows Server. And try to access this. Nope. Is it gonna work? What? It does work. As you can see, this is our Gamigo response file. This one. Okay? It can now be served through this address, which the zone will need to run. Okay. SSMS. This one's pretty straightforward. You just hit install and yes, it will ask you to restart your PC at the end of the setup. I'm not gonna do this now. I hope it works anyways. But yeah, what we can do now in the background is hex edit our login service. Start HXD and open the login service. This one. What I always do is find. I search for US and then I find again, and at the second occurrence there's like these strings MD5 and it's IP addresses. So what you want to do is go to a website like MD5 hash generator and hex edit your servers, convert your server's IP address to an MD5 hash. Like this. Copy it and replace these. 1, 2, 3, 4 times and save. Control S and we're done here. What HXD does then is create a backup file. I won't need this, so I'm just gonna delete it. Okay, it's still running. Anything else to do? Ports, we did that, we did that, we did that. No. We only have to wait this for to finish. What I want to do in the meantime is explain a little bit in here. We have our connection strings to our database. In here, it's called a DSN, and we have our, this actually means to the local instance. So the dot backslash means connect to the SQL Express instance on the local machine. SA, that's the user. This is the password. And yes. Okay. We're actually getting there. We will have to restore 5 databases. Come on. Almost. Okay. Like I said, at the end of the setup, it's gonna ask for a reboot. I'm just gonna close and not do this now and hope that it's working anyway. Okay, we have SQL Source Management Studio. What I always do is copy these files into C drive, program files, SQL Server, SQL Express, MS SQL, backup. Because that's where it's gonna look for. Connect. Okay, now we're connected to our SQL Server instance. Go to Databases, right click, Restore Database. We're gonna do this 5 times. Account. Okay. Okay. You have to go to Device and then select the file. Account log. Character. Game log. Actually, we're gonna call this world 0 game log. And statistics data. Okay, let's create an account. Go to Account Tables, right-click T user, and edit the top 200 rows. Then we get this nice UI. Okay, there's actually one already added, but my client uses MD5 passwords. So I am hashing admin and copying the hash in here. And then just Control S save. I don't know if your client uses MD5 passwords or not. You're just gonna have to try. So you either have clear text passwords or MD5 hashes. But my client's using MD5, so this should work. I don't think there's anything left to do in here, so I'm just gonna close it. And I think we're good to go. Let's start this executables. And they're gonna say service upload only, okay. And if they don't say this, you can try to run them as administrator explicitly, and hopefully then it's gonna work. Start them one by one. Okay. Good. And these executables actually access this file in here and read all the configuration information. We're just gonna go to services now. And what we did right now is create the services in here. What we want to do is, what you most likely want to do is set them to automatically start, so that when you boot your computer, just like SQL Server, it should be somewhere in here. SQL Server, SQL Express, it automatically starts with your computer. So when your server crashes or restarts for some reason, they will automatically be up, which is very important for live servers. Okay, with our zones, we actually want to have them start automatically, but delayed, because our web server will have to start first before our zones. So they kinda depend on our web server being up. And if our web server isn't up and the zone is starting, it will crash and it won't like automatically retry to start. It will just be there, stopped and not ever starting, you know. So we have to kind of wait for our web server to be up. That's why we set this to automatic delayed start. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's start them. If you have any questions about this, feel free to ask in the comments. I know I've kind of rushed a little bit and not really explained everything as well as I could have, but this is my first time doing something like this and I'm really nervous about it. So I hope you can understand. Let's check if everything stays up, because the zones sometimes, when you refresh a few times, they will crash. It happens a lot of times. I think every Fiesta Online developer knows the situation when you edit some files and then the zones magically won't start up again. It's very frustrating, but it seems like they are stable. Um, okay, we can close this. Go to our client folder and start the game. Okay, admin, password admin, and it's working. We have our server, we can connect to it, and we can create a character. Oh, not working? What are we gonna name it? Master. This is our master character. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you were able to follow my steps, and if you weren't, just leave a comment. Tell me what went wrong. Tell me how I can help you out, and I'll see. We'll figure it out. Hope you enjoyed, and see you.